A week is a long time in gaming, for most games at least. They come out, they have that first few days of streamers playing them, podcasters chatting about them, and a weekend of sales. Then for most they go away and that's it. Despite when there's a discount and if they're good enough, a trickle of word of mouth for the Game of the Year talk. So I'm aware I'm already too late with this. No one's searching for videos about Keeper. But I played it, I had thoughts, and so now you need to suffer them. First things first, Keeper is stunning. From the opening moments of the stumbling lighthouse, it scampering away from falling pathways, the animation has a kind of European animated film charm. Those early moments bring a heart to the character that I don't think is there as the game progresses. But nonetheless, it really makes you appreciate the effort, care and skill that's gone into making Keeper. Rather than Double Fine's usual quirky weirdness, it has a feel of an imagined big budget Amanita design game, a 3D botanicular or machinarium. Graphically it's almost perfect at points. There's a grain to the lighthouse that makes it look handmade, the use of light bursts, coloured smoke and even the odd moment of stylistic graphical choices don't necessarily run through the rest of the game, but makes Keeper one of the prettiest games I've played in a long time, at least early on. But did you spot that? There it is again. Can you guess what engine Keeper's running on? The shader stutter and traversal hitching run throughout the game, multiple second freezes shatter the atmosphere and drain the character the game tries to build. It's so bad at one point it just completely crashed on me. Had I not known the runtime of the game, that's maybe why I just called it. But we'll get to that in a minute. Just as an aside, I kind of wish people would stop using Unreal. I know it's a perpetuating thing, it's what people know, so it gets used to make games quickly. You know the engine, your staff know the engine, and it does look fantastic when it's used right. But it just doesn't run properly on PC, and it's so demanding on the consoles, so I don't know, but I once got halfway through making a visual novel, so, what do I know? Anyway, all the footage here is from the first hour or so, and the game took me somewhere between 4 and 5 hours to beat, so I tried to keep things spoiler free, or at least vague enough that, you're not going to know ahead of time. To talk about the early game though, while rewatching the footage from the capture, I made a note that I wish the whole game had been more like the opening. A quirky, charming little walking sim with a plot that doesn't really make any sense, but who cares, it's pretty. Truth is though, I could barely keep my eyes open for the first hour. Granted, that might be more due to my insomnia, and it's a little dramatic as a sentence, but Keeper just doesn't do a lot to get you engaged. I've no idea what we're doing, why we're doing it, why the lighthouse is a thing and what's happening in the world. Again, this is something we'll come back to. Around the time I got to the floaty section, things started to improve. I started to enjoy that section. It looks lovely and there's a nice feel to the controls here. I can't say the same for the rest of the game. I've regularly lost track of which way to turn the light and found the movement to be a bit clumsy and awkward, but those big floaty jumps were definitely a highlight. The biggest compliment I can pay Keeper is that alongside the Amanita design comparison, it also reminds me of Hazelight. Hazelight, or at least the last couple of games, have a brilliant knack of throwing idea after idea into their games. You're never doing the same thing for long and you rarely have to repeat it. So if you don't like a gameplay mechanic, that's fine, it's gone soon enough, and sometimes it's gone before you even realise you don't like it. Keeper is not to that level. It has plenty of ideas, changing the gameplay up every 40 minutes or so, but it's not to the rapid, packed level of something like It Takes Two. Instead it's guilty the opposite, especially later on. You'll find yourself in a section expecting it to end, but instead you'll unveil a new area with more of the same, often taking a step back in how inventive and demanding what it's asking you to do is. Like in the rule of threes, it's messed up the order. Instead of 1, 2, 3, it's 1, 3, 2. Without wanting to get ahead of myself, for a short game, Keeper committed the cardinal sin of me wanting it to be over sooner than it was. Not helped that, and there is some sort of vague spoilers here, it doesn't pull the trigger on the ending when I was expecting it to. The build doesn't pay off, there's more, and it's not that what follows is bad per se, but it was only the promise that there wasn't much left that steeled me to carry on. My issue with Keeper is a single question that plays everything from the gameplay to the narrative. But why? As I mentioned, I've no idea why we're on this adventure, why Lighthouse is now sentient, maybe I missed a cutscene somewhere, and that might be on me. I don't really know what the big bad is, or why it's doing what it's doing, why it's down to us to stop it, why I'm supposed to care, why the villagers are there. I don't know. Then you get to the gameplay and it's a lot of put thing in thing. So to some extent you're doing stuff because it's a game and that's what you do in games, but there's a moment where it feels like the game just happens with no thought from you. There's a section later on where you need to get energy from a certain flower and take that to other identical flowers which seem to activate them and also increase your power for some reason. Daisy chain all this until you reach a barrier you can now have the power to smash through. Why is this a thing? Why does that plant have the power, why don't the others, and why is that barrier unbreakable without that power? Another section you need to get gold orbs to put in a machine which will now clear a path for you. Another bit, there's small floating things you need to collect to get to raise an object for you. Why? It's another moment I solved before I knew it existed. Compare it to the moment when you first reach that floaty section. Look at this footage. Keeper breaks the barrier, gets covered in fluff, and realises, which teaches you, that it can now float. That animation adds charm and explains the rules of the section within less time than some of the stutters I experienced. For all the things I liked about Keeper, and you will be hard pushed to find a nice looking game this year, I can't say I was ever really enjoying myself. I'm not sure why it's received the praise it has beyond the presentation and the team behind it. It never really engaged me, nor do I know what its message was. Maybe it's just one of those games that caught me at the wrong time, but Keeper did nothing for me. And it's a shame because you feel like if it just nailed some of those gameplay moments, just connected a few dots here and there, and told a tale through its gameplay, it would really stand out with the presentation, the music, the look, everything else about it. It would stand out as a really, really special game, but as things are, I just don't understand why you'd pick this over any number of games that are out this month.